Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gayle Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter.
My guest today is Joya Gallasch, and 17 years of a dark night of the soul, which also included sexual abuse, a recent wildfire, and a near-death experience, taught her one thing: the only stability is to be found in the heart, embodied through self-love. As a coach, mentor, and retreat leader, she has shared the message of love in international programs on purpose, transformation, and feminine empowerment for more than 25 years. She empowers women to blossom into their uniqueness and voice their gifts by clearing the muck that keeps them stuck. She encourages authenticity, self-care, and softening. Welcome to the show, Joya. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be part of your show.
Well, you have quite a story to tell, and I'm not really even sure where to begin. But let's start, since wildfires seem to be of the issue and topic timely right now. Let's talk about that, because you experienced a wildfire where your home, your workshop space, your office, and everything you own burned. I don't even know what I would do with something like that. So how do you experience it, and how did you rise from the ashes?
Yeah, it definitely, an experience like that is a big one, and it's very, very interesting because I had read about it time ago, and I always felt this will actually never ever happen to me. And a lot of times in my life, when I say never ever, I guess I get tested. So when it happened, it it felt like I got shattered, like a ceramic urn. I got shattered into 200 pieces. And it definitely took a while to start collecting the pieces. And in a way, maybe it was one of my deepest experiences of surrender, because you cannot do anything else but surrender. It's such a huge experience, and it definitely comes with not knowing. I mean, I remember there was a time when I felt like I wondered, and I wondered, who am I, and why am I here, and what am I supposed to do, and where am I going to live? So there were so many questions. So in a way, it also felt like probably some of my identities that were connected to the material loss got burned too. And I was actually invited to look at my life and say, okay, is this me? Or is there, something else that wants to be birthed? Like, kind of this image, Phoenix rising from the ashes, is very appropriate. That's definitely what's happening, and probably for other people too.
So how did all of that change you, though? I mean, what did you learn from it?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I love it. I guess the first piece that comes to mind is I definitely got very, very humbled.
I would imagine. I mean, something like that can just, you say, what is it all about? And what happened to all the things that I created, and my memories, all of that. I mean, it has to have a tremendous impact on you.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And of course, in the beginning, it is heartbreaking. It is totally unsettling, and one is so uprooted that there is massive confusion and unclarity in the field. So in the beginning, as I have helped people to, deal with a situation like that, you have to go into acceptance, because I remember I couldn't go right away into the places. Okay, what is this teaching me? What am I learning from it? I really had to own what just happened and what was happening. And another piece that I felt was very humbling was I've always been incredibly in love with nature. And I bring her into my work, and I feel, especially, the feminine in men and the feminine in women, it's so important that we are deeply rooted and connected to Mother Earth. And when an event like that happens, all you can do is bow to that force and really come back to who's in charge here. Is it me, or is it something so much bigger than me? And I guess another piece that changed me, or it got even more activated, was that piece around gratitude. Because especially us in the Western world, we have so much. And it is so easy sometimes to feel, oh, this isn't enough, or I'm not enough, or if only, and I should have. And after the fire experience, there was just so much gratitude. And sometimes I had to be reminded, granted, I'm not here the saint sitting, um, knowing how to maneuver through such challenging situations easily. It isn't easy. Yet to be grateful for being alive, grateful for what we have, grateful for the people, the family, the community in our life. It's just so easy to sometimes, in the rush and the velocity of life happening around us, to forget about it. And
so if you were to give people some tips or some tools for people that are going through a disaster, because it's not just fire, there are certainly hurricanes, and I've certainly been through enough of those, and there are these horrible snowstorms and ice storms and blizzards and tornadoes. So what tips can you offer people who are going through a disaster of some sort?
Yeah, I guess probably what I would start with is, if you've never experienced one, to prepare yourself. So I remember that we would tell people to take inventory of what you own. Write it down, put it in your computer, have your phone with you, take videos. So should it ever happen, in terms of what you have to file with the insurance company, which can be super stressful, you would kind of step ahead of it. And another piece that I would say is be so grateful for everything you have, as I pointed out before, and then practice saying goodbye. What would be if this or that would not exist in my life anymore? So that's an interesting practice that most of us don't really do, because we always think that's never going to happen to me. And if it happens, the one big suggestion or invitation I have is to feel what just happened, because it will bring up, literally tornadoes, or like a volcano eruption of emotions and feelings. And a lot of us are so trained to function, to be in charge, I have this in control. And then you're being told from the outside too, you got to be strong. And what I found in the experience, and any kind of, it could also be in a fire, like you're going through a loss, or you're going through a difficult time in a relationship, or a divorce, or a miscarriage. It is so, so important to feel everything that wants to be felt.
So I introduced you and I talked about the dark night of the soul. What is that to you?
Yeah, I find that such a beautiful expression. And I remember when I heard it the first time, I had no clue what it stands for. And then as life was in a way starting to serve me different experiences that were quite difficult and very challenging. And some experiences were actually um, so beyond my comprehension that I remember I sometimes even wanted to check out. I just felt like I can't take it anymore. It's too much. I don't want to live anymore. So I guess I would describe a dark night of the soul when we literally forget who we are, that we are these amazing, that we are actually spirit beings going through a human experience, that we have this infinite wisdom inside of us that we host, or actually somewhere in us, around us, who knows where it is. There is this soul, this spirit, this energy that connects us to our spiritual connection, which is so much bigger than what our minds or our ego can comprehend. So when that, in a way, is forgotten or threatened or neglected, I noticed that I started to be served these experiences that just so shook me up in what I thought, this is who I am, and this is what life is all about, and this is how I sail through the day. It really kind of like, sometimes it felt like somebody was pulling the rug under me, and I had to also connect. That's probably another wonderful gift of a dark night of the soul, is that we're invited to embrace and to face our dark sides. And that is something that can be challenging. And it is so important and so needed. So did that answer?
Yeah, it may be a little woo-woo for some people, but those people who understand spirituality and understand this type of thing are probably right in tune with you. But you also founded a group called Women Uplift. And I just wonder, who is a member of that? Who's a candidate for that? Why did you found it? What is it all about? Tell us about this Women Uplift.
Yeah, this is actually part of a movement, and it's also my company. And I wanted to inspire 1 million or more women in the next 5 years to embrace and face their dark side. Because my experience has been, I once read this beautiful quote. It said, in order to see the stars at night in the sky, we have to allow darkness. And my personal experience has been that I truly started to be and become and embody who I am in this lifetime when I opened up to looking at my, some of my dark stuff. And that's what also happened during that dark night of the soul. And so my biggest inspiration always has been around inspiration, inspiring people, and uplifting. And I remember years ago, I understood the word to uplift as being always super positive and turning something, always looking at an experience, the glass is half full versus it's half empty. And back then, I actually would brush over what I was really feeling, because I felt I'm not allowing any negativity to enter my field. And so today, as I had to move through my 17 years of challenges and life-changing events, I know that uplifting is also connected to lifting yourself up over and over and over, no matter what happens, yet being truthful and honest with and to yourself by feeling what's going on and working through your stuff, not projecting and blaming it, putting it out, but really going inside and owning that this is an amazing movement, or it's just such a different way to be with uplifting. It feels more balanced, and that's why I started Women Uplift, because ultimately the word already has so much kind of up energy, and I find it inspiring when people, men and women, get permission to, we all fall at times, and like when you watch a little baby that's learning to walk, they crawl and then they get up and they fall, and if they would like give in after their first fall, well, how tragic that would be. They would never learn to walk. So that is a little bit about behind Women Uplift. And I've always loved movements, and I remember some time ago, actually many years ago, I read this beautiful quote by the Dalai Lama. I was given at a peace conference in Canada, I believe, and I'm paraphrasing, so might not get every single word right, but it said that the Western woman or women will save the world. And back then I was like, oh my God, really? Oh, I don't know if I want to take that one on. And does the world or the earth really need saving? And when this movement showed up, I kind of started to understand what he meant, because I do believe that when we, each person for him or herself, start owning our stuff, kind of that muck that gets us stuck, that sometimes it shows up as emotional baggage, sometimes it's karma, sometimes it's a dynamic, with a family system. When we start owning that, it shifts something inside of us. And I strongly believe when we own our darkness, it doesn't have to be played out in the world. And that could be a game changer.
So when you talk about the spirituality things and the visionary things, what exactly is a spiritual or a visionary entrepreneur? I mean, what is different about them than someone who is just a plain old entrepreneur who's in business and wants to make a success of it and is out there pitching every single day?
Right. Well, I actually loved it. I personally got inspired by Davy, who I recently met at this amazing event where I also had the honor to meet you. I love that I think she even calls her business spiritual entrepreneur, because when I saw that, in a way, I felt, wow, as she's stepping into that power of hers, she allowed me to, or gave me permission to use that too. Because when I look back 26 or 7 years ago, when I started my first business, not really knowing anything about business, the number one piece that was always super important to me was to come from my heart. So not to create something that only came from my head, but something that was connected to my heart. So I would say, as my personal definition, it's somebody that is heart-focused or heart-centered, that makes decisions and choices and actions from the heart, which, when I look back at my life, it most of the time then creates situations where it's a win for both sides. And I just find it so beautiful to honor that eternal, infinite part of us, that spirit, that soul. And yes, I wish, I mean, I would have started even earlier to allow kind of my soul to be in the driver's seat, not so much my ego sometimes. So, but in the big picture, I ultimately, I guess titles are words, and we are making an effort to describe what is important to us or to me. And I would love to share in the world that yes, it takes a lot of courage and guts and a lot of stamina and determination, as you of all of us might know the best, to be an entrepreneur. It takes a lot of falling and then lifting yourself up. And if I can bring in that spirit part of me, that my heart, and make good grounded decisions, then I just know I'm going to be a happier person going to bed at night. And at the same time, I watch out for my team, and I also watch out for the people that I offer or that I'd like to serve. And I yeah, it's a win-win. It's a good exchange at the end of the day, and that makes me very happy. So that would be one of my attempts to define being a spiritual entrepreneur.
That's fabulous. So we have about 5 minutes left, Joya. What is it that you would like to tell our audience, or maybe you have a gift for them, I don't know, something that you think that we haven't talked about that would be important for them to know, either about you or your business or anything else? What would you like to tell them?
Well, I would love to, I don't know if you will, probably in the show notes, there will be my website. It's easy to remember, actually, because it's www.
No, give them your website.
Okay,
they're
cool.
Yeah, give them your website, how to get in touch with you, all of that information. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's www.womenuplift.com, womenuplift.com. And on the bottom of my page, there's a free gift, which is a beautiful ebook about self-love. And it actually takes the reader into the possible places of hardness and how you can become aware of it and how you can turn it around. Because ultimately, what I realized in all the different experiences of my dark night of the soul, it always came back to how much do I love myself, and do I allow to love myself? And I know it might sound woo-woo, but at the end of the day, I feel so often we hope, that, oh, there's somebody else or there's a partner that can fill us or fix us. And that's probably not really ever happening. And if I learn, it's almost like a muscle. And if I remember to love myself, and how does that look like, and how can that be put into practical steps, then I will just be kind of this, walking warm, fuzzy love bubble that's sharing gifts in the world, and people will pick it up and they go like, "Woo, I want what she has." And there's one very, very simple gift, and it's actually a practice that I can offer to your wonderful audience, which is when you feel uncentered or frustrated or overwhelmed, bring your hands to your heart, and then maybe for a minute or two, breathe in and, use your imagination, breathe in the essence of self-love and then out self-love. And I guarantee you, when you do that for a minute, in and out, not letting any thought disturb you, you will shift and you will bring yourself into a different frequency, a different feeling. And so self-love is so sweet and delicious and yummy, and it's so easy to forget about it. And so that's a free gift that I would love to offer to your audience. And I practice.
So they should go to womenuplift.com, correct?
Correct.
All right, that's where they need to find you. And I'll tell you, Joya, there is so much pain and suffering in the world today. The fact that you are so positive and you believe in so much of the good of people and humanity and the spiritual world. For the listeners who are interested, this is something you should go to look. And I think it's a great example of when you touch your heart, you bring your hands to your heart, that self-love just kind of emanates from there. So I want to thank you for being with us today, Joya. It's been really an interesting journey, and I think our listeners are kind of embracing more and more of this kind of philosophy. So thank you so much for being with us today, and I hope a lot of people listening to this go to your site and get your gift. It will be really appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the light and the positive vibes you bring in the world. You're amazing. You rock.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. I choose my guests carefully, so if you have someone you'd like me to interview, please drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out my intro program, Mindset Matters, at www.sobmindset.com. See you next week.